Welcome to the AI for Career Success video overview by Curt Robbins. We're experts at AI coaching and helping professionals like you and your employees upskill in AI. The analysis we're about to explore is based on a LinkedIn article from March 30th, 2026, authored by Emma W. Thorne. Her piece thoughtfully analyzes the foundational reporting on this topic from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman.
So here's our agenda. We'll begin by examining Apple's acknowledged lag in the AI space. Then we'll look at the pivot back to its core strengths, dissect the App Store platform play, consider some expert perspectives on this strategy, and conclude by asking whether Apple is redefining the AI battlefield altogether.
All right, let's begin. To really grasp Apple's new strategic direction, we first need to understand the fundamental reality of its current position within the competitive AI landscape. This quote from Mark Gurman of Bloomberg really encapsulates the situation perfectly. It seems Apple is under no illusions here. The company's fully aware that its internal AI development is not on par with market leaders like OpenAI, Google, or Anthropic. So let's break down that competitive reality. The pace of advancement from competitors is just staggering. And because of that, there really isn't a plausible near-term scenario where Apple emerges as a leader in frontier AI models. This implies that the window to launch and directly monetize a premium service, something like an Apple Intelligence subscription, has most likely closed.
Given that reality, if competing head-on in the AI model race isn't a viable option, what is the strategic alternative? Well, it appears to be a classic pivot, shifting focus away from a weaker position and back toward the company's foundational strengths, hardware and services.
This really highlights a fascinating divergence in strategy. On one side, you have the conventional AI model race, where the goal is to build the most intelligent model and sell subscriptions. On the other side, you have Apple's emerging platform play. The focus here shifts from building the best model to controlling its distribution and monetizing that access through commissions, effectively acting as an orchestrator for third-party models.
So how would this actually work? Well, the mechanics of the strategy seem to be a logical extension of one of Apple's most dominant and powerful assets, the App Store.
Analyst Gennaro Cuofano has outlined a very clear four-step playbook for this. Step 1. Concede the model race. Step 2. Reposition the company to be the essential control layer for AI distribution. Step 3. Evolve Siri from a basic assistant into a sophisticated routing layer for AI queries. And finally, Step 4. Capture value from the ecosystem through App Store commission.
Now, the linchpin for this whole strategy is reportedly a new feature called iOS 27 extensions. The concept is that it would allow users to install AI models, say from Google or OpenAI, and run them directly through Siri. In this scenario, Siri becomes a kind of intelligent broker, directing a user's request to the most appropriate AI for that specific task.
Of course, a strategic pivot of this magnitude has generated considerable debate among industry observers. So let's explore some of those expert perspectives, looking at both the arguments for and against this platform strategy.
This statement from Clement Gradisar really captures the bull case for this strategy in a nutshell. The argument is that if Apple controls the primary distribution channel for AI agents on its devices, then the leaders, OpenAI, Google, and others, will have little choice but to operate within Apple's ecosystem and consequently build for Apple's margin. And what is Apple's greatest source of leverage in this negotiation? It's this number: 1.5 billion active devices. As commentator Henrik Mielik points out, each of those devices is a potential gateway for on-device AI that has access to the user's private, contextual data, a powerful advantage, especially when paired with Apple's emphasis on privacy. Analyst Linda Sui takes this idea a bit further. She suggests that the entire market might actually shift in Apple's favor. Citing growing concerns over the privacy, cost, and latency of purely cloud-based AI, she argues that hardware-led ecosystems like Apple's could eventually outperform them. However, not everyone is convinced. There is a skeptic's view articulated by Eric Silver who calls this a fragile model. He suggests it might be vulnerable to the same types of disruptions that have affected the SaaS industry. He also points out that it relies heavily on users owning multiple Apple devices in a future that might trend toward more decentralized edge AI computing. So let's synthesize these perspectives. When you place the bullish and bearish arguments side by side, you begin to see the core strategic trade-off that Apple is navigating. This table provides a clear summary of that exchange. You see, Apple appears to be conceding superiority in frontier AI models and foregoing direct AI subscription revenue. In return, it is positioning itself to control AI distribution, user identity, deep device integration, and, most critically,
the entire monetization layer of this emerging AI ecosystem.
And this brings us to the ultimate strategic question that this whole situation poses. Is Apple simply making a defensive move by conceding a battle it cannot win, or is this a sophisticated offensive play to redefine the entire battlefield on its own terms?
That remains the central question for us to consider. Thank you for joining this overview. This is where we teach you AI and help you get smarter than your competition.
If you like these videos, please use the QR code at the beginning of this video to buy us a coffee, or hire us to coach you or your employees in AI.
We also invite you to subscribe to the AI for Career Success YouTube channel. And please do like, comment, and share to help us reach a wider audience.